All right, so here you can see our budget template. I have been using this for the last 3.5 years or so, and it has evolved over time. It didn't always look this way, but as you watch this, if you like this kind of detail, then know that this budget is for sale. This template is for sale in my Etsy shop. You can get it in either Microsoft Excel or in Google Sheets format, whichever one suits you. So I always leave a link to my shop down below, and there's a lot of other stuff out there too. I have debt and savings trackers that you might want to check out. So just click on the link and you'll be able to see it all there. So let's go ahead and get going here and talk about our July budget. So I always hide our income, our details of our income on who makes what. Have no problem sharing the totals. That's not an issue, but this is one bit of privacy that we keep. So what I have here is our details blacked out. So what we do is we enter our expected over here, and then it populates over here. I do share our the rental income that we have coming in from our other home. So you can see here that we do plan on having $1,250 come in July, and then sinking funds we plan on using $257. No plans on the emergency fund, and we do expect to have $913 come in for student loans. So that brings our total to $12,338 that we believe will be our bucket for income for the month of July. Now, as we move down through here, there's a whole lot going on this spreadsheet, but I do want to point out that we focus on column C, the budgeted column. So we're looking at, what is the description? This is the category. This is kind of like the line item description. And then what is the amount? The rest of the stuff doesn't matter when I'm setting it all up. There's some things in there, but they have no significance in this video. When I do my budget report, like after the month ends and I come back and show all of our spending as compared to our plan, that's when these other columns matter. But for now, we're focused on the budgeted column. So $12,338 is what we have for our planned income for the month. So now we need to make a plan to spend every dollar before we ever get any of it. And this is really important for us. We are two spenders and we really struggle with our variable spending and whatnot. So you can imagine when we didn't have a budget at all for 9 whole years, how bad things might have gotten. And I talk about that in some other videos. I always leave those links kind of with our story and whatnot down in the description if you ever want to check those out. But the bottom line is if we don't give if we don't set up a roadmap for our money before it ever comes in, then we end up making just really, really poor decisions. I mean, we struggle doing that anyway. I can't even imagine how much worse it would be if we weren't actually tracking everything. So let's take a look and see what we have planned here. So in giving, we don't have anything planned for giving in the month of July. But in housing, we plan on $2,550 for the mortgage, which is for 2 homes. Utilities for our gas and electric, that's a monthly expense. We expect $214. That just went up by $28 a month. We are in our, we've been in our home for 6 months now. We moved here the week before Christmas, and we took on the budget bill that was set up for the previous owners, and then it's been 6 months now, so they did a review and they bumped it up. So we're now at $214. We don't expect to pay anything for utilities, for water, garbage, sewer, because that's quarterly, and so we won't pay that again until August. Internet is $116, mobile services $185, and that brings our total housing to $3,066. In transportation, I am bumping up our gas to $250 because we've had it as low as $150 during the pandemic when Matt and I were both working 100% from home. We had it down at $150. We were hardly going anywhere. In fact, we're about 6 months into the year and we've put about 4,200 miles on our main vehicle, the one that Matt and I use for everything. That's like 700 miles a month, which is unheard of for us. We are a 15 to 18,000 a year family as far as miles. So, that's like 1,200 to 1,500 miles a month. So the pandemic definitely had, and all the things that were happening definitely had an impact on that. But as I start going back to work more often, I'm actually working in the office at least 3 days a week now. That is a commute that we didn't have for over a year. So now our gas prices are going up as well. So our gas expenses are going up. So changed it to $250 for July because I think that'll cover. That's about what we spent in June. And we do have to make a trip. We are going out of town for a weekend in July for a family event. And so we know that we're going to put a few hundred miles on then. That'll all add into it. We have OnStar for $21, and then right now we don't plan on any repairs to either of our vehicles, and we don't have any registration due, and we don't plan on any Uber expenses. So that brings our total transportation to $271. In groceries, I am upping our food budget. And so I have been struggling with this for several months. If you've been watching, you guys have watched us struggle with this. But somebody said out loud in a comment on a recent video that I did with our budget that they just really think that we've under budgeted here. And I think that that is correct. They suggested, I think it was Cecilia. Cecilia, if you're watching, I'm pretty sure it was you who said you thought maybe we should have $1,000 a month. I do think that's a bit much. You're right. We do feed 3 adults and others throughout the month, but I think that we can do it for less than 1,000. So I am bumping our budget from 600 a month up to 900 a month because I have been running around 800-ish, 800 to 900 for months now. So we're going to give this a try and see how this goes. So 900 it is for food. Oh, I have yard and garden in the kiddos section. That is not where it goes. It actually should go in the extras. We don't have anything planned for the kiddos for the month of July, but this $100 we do plan on spending for yard and garden. I will just need to move this down to the extras section when we get there. And I'm just going to do that real quick so that I can get that out of there. Oh, I already had it here. I just had it here by an error. So let's just delete this. So nothing for kiddos for the month. For pets, we are looking at nothing for food because we just bought food in June. Grooming will be $20. Meds will be nothing, I don't believe. And then other supplies, $45, and then nothing for training or the vet. So our total expected expenses are $65. Next up is insurance. And in this category, I'm just going to run down through these really quickly. We're going to do $434 for medical, $21 for dental, $81 for life, $62 for short-term disability, $33 for accident, $41 for critical illness, $60 for union dues, $12 for identity theft, and $37 for legal, bringing our total to $785. We pay auto once every 6 months. I have a sinking fund for that, and we just paid it in May, so we don't have to pay it again until November. In entertainment, streaming, we expect $23, HP Inc. 3, and Cinemark will be 10. We have activated our monthly movie pass subscription, so we expect $37 total for entertainment. And in health, $509 for our flexible spending accounts, $33 for the gym, and $100 for healthcare. Couple of things I wanted to mention here. First of all, flexible spending accounts, if you're not familiar what this is a way to pay for your healthcare costs with pre-tax dollars. I won't get into all the details of that, but we definitely take advantage of that. The full $5,000 that the two of us can do, between the two of us, we can do $5,000 a year. So I max mine out, and then Matt does the rest. And it's pretty high right now because Matt was off for a few months, and we have to catch all that up before the end of the plan year, which is June 30th for him. So this is a little high. It's going to be a little bit lower starting in August, thank goodness. So that brings our total health expenses to $642 for July. All right, now for extras. These are things that we know that are coming that don't really fall into any other category. So yard and garden, I have $100. This is because the garden is starting to come along, and we have expenses for our yards every month of some sort or another. Even, we do all of it ourselves as far as the care and that kind of thing, but expenses come up, and this was in June, we actually had some expenses where we spent $31 on some additional potting soil and that kind of thing. Xanthi really has a green thumb and has a whole garden going over at their house, and we fund all of that, and she does all the work and then she's going to bring all of the harvest over to our house. And I actually took a week off in August so she and I can do canning. So we are really trying to make the most of the garden this year. And so I am keeping money every month in our budget so that we can get the things that we need, the canning supplies and whatnot. Then we have our carbonite renewal, and that is an annual subscription to back up our computer. So that's $71. And then we have travel. We have a weekend planned out of town. And so we're planning on $300 for that weekend. So that brings our total, I keep forgetting to update this, our total extras to $471. That's what we expect. This category is kind of the catch-all for a lot of things. So there are other things that typically show up here. We're almost always over in extras, but a lot of times the things that are in here are also covered by a sinking fund, like the carbonate renewal. That'll come out of a sinking fund. So anyhow, so $471 for extras. In miscellaneous, we're going to do $60 for spending for me, nothing for Matt, and then household will be $125. All other miscellaneous $125, and then that brings the total to $310. So this is when we say, we used to call these like electronic envelopes because we don't actually pull the money out of the bank. I just keep track of it here with our transactions and whatnot. All right, moving on to savings. You'll see here we plan on putting $200 into our emergency fund, $10 into investments, $75 to college savings, and $168 to retirement. You will see this number is a lot lower than it's been, and I'm going to talk about why here in just a minute. That brings our total savings planned to $453 for July. And for those of you that are new, savings is different than sinking funds in our minds. These are things that we are putting away and trying not to touch at all. Sinking funds are for a purpose where we are saving money because we have an expense that's coming. So a defined expense that's coming, I should say. So let's just take a look at those here. So I will bring those up. So you can see we have a bunch of them. I am a true believer in sinking funds. So let's just run down through those. Auto insurance is $180, auto registrations $26, $15 into Bug's account, that's our granddaughter. Business travel for Matt $15, city utilities $80, clothing $35, entertainment $15, estate planning $20, gifts $95, healthcare, oh, that's going to be $100. Sorry. No, that's wrong. Gifts $95, healthcare is $45, Henry is $15, holidays is $100. I always get these two mixed up. Home maintenance $967, and you'll see why. That's kind of like an odd amount there. Image $45, life insurance $81, moved for Lowe's $570. So this is to pay off a credit card. We're trying to bulk up and get some of these smaller balances paid off. So I'm moving some money over and just sitting it there while we work through that. And then online subscriptions, 55, pet expense 90, technology 20, nothing to vacation, 145 to vehicles, $10 to wedding anniversary, and $40 to Xanthi's account. And where we have Bug and Henry and Xanthi, we have sinking funds for them because things come up that, expenses for the kids, and we just want to have a little bit of money sitting aside so that we can grab it whenever we need to get something for them or they need us to get something for them. All right, next up we have our debt section, and let me just give a little bit of preface here. We have a lot of debts, and so we started, I believe we have a total of 41 or 2, and I had to track them, Matt's versus mine, and things like that. This is going back to when we first started 3.5 years ago, and so I've just continued this whole time. So because there are so many, I broke it into 3 different sections. And so we have a paid off section where these are all 100% paid off. We're done with them, in the rearview mirror, not dealing with them anymore. And that totals $32,161. Then we have this charged off section, and this down here totals $6,718. These are charged off, or these are old credit cards. They're all Matt's, and they are like in collections or have been charged off. They're not with the original creditor anymore. And so we put those to the side for now. That's why they're in their own category. And that was at Matt's request. We're focusing on some other things. So let's talk about the pink and black font that you're seeing here. Pink references anything that has my name on it, and black is anything that has Matt's name only on it. So that's where you can see these are all Matt's down here, but we've paid off a mix of both. And then when you go down to the actively paying section here, you can see we're working on a mix of both. So let's see here. Let's just run through and look at what we have planned here. So normally for the Care credit card, we're paying $50 a month, but I would like to try to pay it off in July. And I have already called once, I think it was last year when I had some extra money, and I was hoping that they'd let me pay it off at about 75%, but they wouldn't take anything less than 90%, and I didn't have that much, so we just kept going with it's $25 every other week. So every once in a while, it's $75 a month, but most of the time it's 50. So we're hoping to get that paid off. We'll owe $750 at the end of June. So we're hoping I'll get one $25 payment in, and then we're hoping to pay 90% of the balance off of the $725. For Lowe's, we are going to do $190. This is for Gordman's, and that's $80. Capital One, $25. These are all credit cards here. UAS student loan is $50, and then child support is $456 for this one. This one's done now. We still don't have this money back, but it's done now. $91 for this one. And then this HELOC was traded out from an old credit card that I had that had a really super high interest rate on it. So we took out a HELOC with like a third of the interest on it. So that's going to be $200, and then our car payment is $550, and then our family loan is $250. And right now we aren't paying anything on our graduate loans or the undergraduate loans for Matt. So that'll bring our total to $2,571 is what we're planning in July. Again, trying to get this one paid off and clear up this $50 a month that we're paying right now. And when you look here, let's see where we are. Total expenses, $12,238. Total income is $12,338, which leaves $100 left over. And so let's just go back up here to sinking funds, and I would like to add that to the home maintenance. So the reason for that is we have work being done right now on our house. We have water damage in our master bedroom, master bathroom, and in our kitchen because it went down into the ceiling in the kitchen. And so construction started this past week where they came in and tore everything out, and they've started to install the new shower, and they'll be back tomorrow, and then I'll know what the plan is for tomorrow because nobody was here Thursday, Friday. So they were here 3 days, and then we didn't have anything for a couple days. And this all happened in February. So it's been a long time coming to get this going. So we estimate that it's about $15,000 total. And we have already paid the general contractor $10,000, and we have purchased some things of our own. So we don't know how much we're actually going to owe them after this, but we're just planning on socking away, hopefully up to $3,000 having available if we need it. I have a feeling with the things we purchased, we may not need to have all of that, but we'll see how it all shakes out. So we're putting everything we can in here to build this up. In June, we had about $1,000 in there, and we had to use it to purchase things since they were coming to actually start the construction. So this is kind of an ongoing thing, but I'm hoping by the end of July, everything's done and paid for. And then in our July budget report, which we'll do in August, I can talk through all of that. And let's see here. I think that is everything for us for July. So lots of different moving parts happening right now. And, we're hoping that the changes with our food budget will work better for us and serve us better and that kind of thing. We'll just have to see how it all plays out because honestly, we can come up with a roadmap, but life happens all the time. If you are somebody who budgets and tracks all of your information, you know that you can come up with a plan. And the whole thing about a budget is you have to have some flexibility with it. If you are not able to be flexible, then having a budget can be overwhelming. and we just have to be able to go with the flow whenever we can. So that is what we do, and in hopes that we will make better decisions more of the time than not, right? And so that's how we've gotten as far as we have. We've paid off $111,000, I think, or 112, something like that. You'll be able to see those numbers when I do the June budget recap, the budget report later in July. But we didn't get there by accident. And even though we struggle with our spending and whatnot, we have continued to just chip away at it. And it takes time and perseverance. And it doesn't have to be hardcore all the time. You get to pick. How hard do you want to run at this? Or how much do you want to be focused on other things, right? So paying off debt, saving for your future, we're trying to do both, right? So anyway, so that is what we have in store for July, and I am curious to know, have you gotten your July budget started? Is it set up and ready to go? Maybe you're working on it right now. Don't forget that you can check out my my template for my budget in my Etsy shop, which is in a link below. Also, there's tons of debt and savings trackers out there if you're interested in those. So that is all I've got for you this time. You can check out the video that is in the middle of the screen here. It's going to be whatever YouTube thinks is best for you. So check it out, and I will see you over there.